The worst thing we can do is let people walk all over us and bulldoze right through those boundaries we try to create. Sometimes all it takes is a firm hand. Today on rLounge, we remind grandmas of the world who's in charge. Our first OP doesn't need a babysitter. Mother-in-law keeps pressuring to babysit. So before I even had my son, my mother-in-law was putting the pressure on to babysit him way too soon. I told her before I even had him that it will be a while, at least until after 3 months. She told me I would probably get postpartum depression, which was really crap. We moved on from it though, because I was successfully exclusively breastfeeding, so she wouldn't be able to babysit anyways. Fast forward a little past a week old, my baby refuses to latch. It's awful. I tried everything. I talked to his pediatrician and had a lactation consultant do a house visit. Poor guy has a tongue tie. Apparently pretty typical that babies will latch okay for about a week, then out of nowhere refuse to latch. I cried for 2 days. I was loving my breastfeeding journey and it broke my heart to start mixing formula and breast milk. Nothing wrong with it, but I really loved breastfeeding. Upon hearing this, my mother-in-law gets a freaking twinkle in her eye. Then she starts pushing to babysit again. For Christmas, she gets us restaurant gift cards. She never does stuff like that, and tells us they will come with a babysitter. Then today, after I text her Merry Christmas, she lets me know she is off work until after New Year, if we want to go out to eat. Like, geez, we know you're available to babysit, and we'll let you know. I just politely told her that I'm not comfortable with that yet, and thanks for the offer. She knows that he is getting his tongue clipped next week. Why would we want to leave him with someone else after that? She also knows that I'm still offering him my breast after every feeding. So even though I'm bottle feeding, I'm still keeping him familiar and would like it to be respected the same way as if I was breastfeeding. She also knows that since his latch has gotten so sloppy that his gas is horrible. I already told her that I don't feel comfortable leaving him under these circumstances and that I wouldn't want to anyways because he's only 2 weeks old. I just had my breastfeeding journey ripped from me and I want to bond with my freaking baby. Then she really put the cherry on top with her behavior this Christmas. She is obsessed with my son's uncircumcised penis. We thought she was finally going to drop it, but then yesterday while my husband was out of the room, she attacks me on it again, telling me how I'm going to give him a UTI if I don't retract his penis and clean it out. You cannot retract it. I have freaking told her this. She will hurt him if she tries to retract it. It doesn't need to be retracted. It's natural. Leave it the F alone. Then she goes on about how her friend said an adult got a UTI because they didn't retract it and had to get circumcised as an adult and how it's so much more difficult as an adult, blah blah blah. That's poor hygiene and has nothing to do with having a foreskin. Then she told me to talk to my pediatrician about it rather than just Google it. Which I did, and what he said and Google says matches. She will listen to some friend but will try to call me out for researching things on Google. Now I definitely don't trust her with my kid because she cannot be convinced that you cannot pull back in an infant's foreskin. The community has some thoughts on this. Let's start with the Baney. I'd tell her that since she is so concerned about his penis, how to clean it, and isn't listening to you, the parent, that she won't be babysitting until the child is old enough to talk about what happens at grandma's. Up in the Air 83 says, this 100%. Tell her you are aware of 85% of abuse happens within families. Tell her you aren't comfortable with someone being so obsessed with your son's penis. No discussion. She should not be allowed alone with your son. Even if it is innocent, she's being ridiculous in so many ways. Here for T adds, yes, she can't even be with your child unsupervised until they start school. Tell your mother-in-law to drop it. The OP replies, this is what's going to happen after one more and final conversation about it. She will also have to swear to us that she will never retract his foreskin and that she will not question us on this again. If she doesn't show full understanding and swears to us that she will drop it, then that's exactly what will happen. Gone Girl 1876 says, honestly at this point she's probably going to do it anyway if you leave him with her. Don't do it. Button Humper says, stop saying you're not comfortable and straight up say, no, you're never watching my son. There's no chance. Stop letting her think there's a chance. She's sick. The OP replies, she's the only grandparent and she will be a good grandmother someday. At some point we will use her as a babysitter and want to be able to utilize her, but that's way in the future. But at this point that might change though. I'm seriously terrified she's going to try to retract his foreskin. Me and my husband are still trying to decide how to approach that. Button Humper responds back, sometimes no grandparents is better than having one that will harm your child. Buttercup 303 adds, no, she will not be a good grandmother someday. She is overly invested in wanting unsupervised access to your child. Good grandparents start off as good grandparents because they respect the parents' decisions regarding your child. She wants to play pretend mommy to your child, and she's willing to say or do anything to get unsupervised access. She is eventually going to figure out that if she tells you what you want to hear, she will get unsupervised access, and then she can do whatever she wants with your child. There is a difference between babysitting and grandparenting. Babysitting is when you task someone with your parent proxy to watch your child. The person is your proxy and wants to follow your rules on parenting. They will ask all kinds of questions about how you want stuff done because they are acting on your behalf. They also know that if they don't follow your rules, they will be fired. Grandparenting is when the grandparents swoop in to spoil your child and will do whatever they want because they know better. They're not going to follow your rules because they know better. That is all okay in small doses as long as it doesn't go too far. Good grandparents will never overrule your judgment on health and safety issues. Your mother-in-law wants your child as her do-over baby. If she gets your child unsupervised, she's going to pretend that your baby is her baby. She wants to live a fantasy that she is raising a baby again. That's why she is desperate for babysitting time. It's not about babysitting. It's about unsupervised time where she can pretend she is mommy raising a baby again. She is addicted to wanting your baby unsupervised. No good caring grandma would be trying to separate you from your baby in the first 2 weeks. This is your prime bonding time with the baby. She wants the baby for herself, and she doesn't care how you feel. Your feelings are not relevant. Your baby crying for its mama is not relevant, either which is going to happen if you let her to babysit this soon. Your baby knows your voice and your heartbeat. That's what comforts them. You need to reduce her visits and reduce the frequency of the visits. She is addicted to wanting your child. You need to get to weekly, then bi-weekly, then monthly visits. This is your child, not hers. Don't believe her promises because once you leave her unsupervised, she will do what she wants. She only cares about her need to be a mom with a baby again, not your needs or your baby's needs. Balanced Snail has some thoughts. Not judging or saying you should stop, but just wanted to give you another perspective. You said she knows that a lot in your post. Seems like she knows way too much and is actively taking information that you give her as a sign that you trust and love her and uses it against you. I would stop telling her anything. Instead of telling her anything about his and your relationship with breastfeeding, for example, try, "That's not your business. That topic is off limits. That's between our family and our doctors. Your opinion doesn't matter on this topic. You're not entitled to any information." What this communicates, and feel free to say this directly, she's broken your trust. She ignores what you assert that you need as the mom. She ignores what you say your child needs. She is no longer welcome to know things. I get that she's the only grandparent. I'm not saying she can't visit. I'm not saying she'll never babysit. I'm saying until she figures out that you're the mom and she needs to keep her crap to herself, she can have a relationship with the kid, but not with you. Good luck. I'm rooting for you. What you do with your baby and your baby's body is absolutely none of her business. She needs to step to the side and let you do as you will and respect your wishes. If you don't want to go out of the house and leave him, then don't. You don't owe her anything. It's not an easy time to leave your baby with someone else, and she should be respectful of that. She's definitely overstepping her boundaries and she needs to be reminded of where she stands. I also hate when people have an opinion about something that they literally haven't had experience with in years. Like, when was the last time she raised a baby? 30 years ago? Be firm with her. Don't tiptoe around her. Once you're firm and clear in your expectations with her, she'll start backing off. You're the mama, not her. Stay in your power. What would you do? Who do you think is in the wrong? Next up, keep your hands off the baby. Mother-in-law likes to delegate the passing around of my baby. I'm back. I'll keep this one short and sweet. Tonight, we were at dinner that was supposed to only be my husband, myself, our 5-month-old, and his grandparents. Dinner was last minute crashed by my in-laws. Great mother-in-law was holding my daughter when mother-in-law chimed in and said to father-in-law, "Honey, do you want to hold the baby?" Like, what the F? She's not yours to pass around, lady. I would have totally been fine with him holding her, but like, ask me, the mom? I don't know if you guys remember my last post, but I wrote about how annoyed I was when mother-in-law wouldn't pass my own child back to me. Well, tonight, I was nice and let her and father-in-law hold baby. But as I passed my daughter to my mother-in-law, I said, "This time, when I ask for her back, you give her back," very sternly. Go me. The community has some other thoughts. Whipped Pumpkin says, "So my mother-in-law does this too. Like, I could be sitting there holding my own child and she will be like, 'Sister-in-law, would you like to hold the baby?' And I'm like, 'What? We don't pass the baby.' This has bothered me for months. At first, I would just get up and walk away with my baby because I don't like a random non-parent telling me I had to pass my own baby to someone else to hold. Now I say, I'm actually going to continue holding him, and I walk away. It's no one's place to suggest your baby is passed around. The OP replies, it drives me insane, and my mother-in-law is the only one that does this. She has to have control. She has to be the best mommy. It's so weird. Whipped Pumpkin replies again, yeah, it's a control entitlement thing for sure. My mother-in-law is the only one that does it as well. Recently, she was put in her place so many times that now father-in-law will passively say, I think grandma would like to hold baby now. It caught me off guard, but I still held my ground and said I would continue to hold my son. He was fussing and he needed me, not grandma. It's irritating as hell, and I'm sorry she is doing this to you. Just keep holding your ground and repeating a phrase that works for you when she suggests it. No, thank you. Mother-in-law, if sister-in-law wants to hold the baby, she can ask me. Actually, mother-in-law, now isn't a good time. You guys can check in with me later, though. The OP replies, I just read your post history, and you and I seem to have a lot in common. I'm so sorry for your mother-in-law sounds exhausting. I want to follow your lead and really limit my time with my mother-in-law, but unfortunately, we live next door. My dear husband is just about as fed up with them as I am, so hopefully we can escape soon enough. I'm absolutely going to practice some of these responses, by the way. They are excellent. Ever since my little one was born, I have kept visits short and as far between as possible. I have never let mother-in-law watch little one or babysit or anything. I have been my daughter's constant caretaker from the moment she was born to now, so it's just so odd to me to watch this woman offer up this baby up to be held by other people. The baby I birthed and feed and am up with a billion times a night. Like, get out of here, lady. Ugh. Yes, this is excellent. And these responses are excellent too. Sometimes people need the firm hand. They need to be reminded of who the hell is in charge. Don't let her or anyone push you around. And it's honestly in the best interest of the baby as well. Babies have zero immune system and can't just be tossed around anywhere to just anyone. You're doing what's right. Keep up the good work. Do you have a similar story? Share your stories below. Thank you for joining us today on rLounge. Before you go, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you have something you want to say regarding today's content, share that with us in the comments below.